So last week I posted my first video reviewing the ASUS ROG STRIX G15. I made the video to help people know the product better, and I had great fun making it. The video got around 100 views after the first 24 hours of posting, which was well beyond my expectations. 100 views is not a lot compared to some other channels out there, but it means a lot to me to know if my video helped you in some way. Maybe you were considering buying this laptop and you saw the video. Let me know in the comments. I also got my first subscriber, which is super cool, so thank you subscriber number 1 and 2. I hope you enjoy my videos, and if you're watching this review now, I want to welcome you back. If you're watching this for the first time, a big welcome to you new viewers as well. Without further ado, here's a review of ASUS ROG STRIX G15. Let's talk about specifications on this laptop. So this laptop is one of the first ones from ASUS, equipped with the brand new 10th Gen 45W Comet Lake processor from Intel. Granted, these are still 14nm chip, which has been refreshed since the debut of the Skylake architecture back in 2015. However, Intel has been refining them over the years, and it is now the first mobile processor to crack 5 GHz when it comes to single-core performance. Other notable upgrades include the new wireless protocol 802.11ax, aka Wi-Fi 6, integrated Thunderbolt 3, and a faster integrated Iris Pro graphics that decodes 4K HDR. While Intel released several different Comet Lake Gauge CPUs in 2020, from i5 all the way up to i9, typically OEM manufacturers will only choose to have a couple of SKUs to be implemented in their design. In the case of the STRIX G15, you should be able to find 3 CPU models: i5 10300H, i7 10750H, or i7 10875H. These CPUs have different clock speeds, but the major difference lies in the number of cores. The i5 10300H, being a 4-core 8-thread CPU, has a frequency range from 2.5 GHz to 4.5 GHz. The i7 10750H is a 6-core 12-threaded CPU that starts with a base frequency of 2.6 GHz, turboing up to 5 GHz. The i7 10875H, being the most powerful out of the three, is a 8-core 16-thread CPU that ranges between 2.3 GHz to 5.1 GHz. For gaming, I would say the first two options are sufficiently powerful for any common task. With that said, additional cores are always nice to have when you are multitasking, for example, playing a game and streaming at the same time, or heavy video rendering. On the memory side, STRIX G15 has 2 RAM slots. These are DDR4 SODIMM with speeds up to 3200 MHz. The 1650 Ti config of the STRIX G15 gets slightly slower memory speeds, while higher graphics models get higher memory speeds. You can choose between one single memory stick in either 8 or 16 GB RAM configuration, or 2x8 for 16 GB in dual channel, or 2.16 for a maximum of 32 GB of RAM. The storage of the G15 is also user upgradable, just like the memory. And if you're buying the laptop pre-configured, you should be able to find models with up to 1TB of SSD as a single storage option, or 1TB plus 1TB for RAID 0 configuration. This laptop supports up to 3 SSDs. When it comes to the display selection, there are 2 different panel options. Both options are anti-reflective panels with Full HD resolution, 1920 by 1080. What differs them is screen brightness, refresh rate, and supported color space. The standard 144Hz panel has 250 nits of peak brightness. The higher end panel has 240Hz refresh rate and 3 millisecond response time. This panel also supports a wider range of colors, covering 100% of sRGB and 75% Adobe RGB, as well as being brighter at 300 nits, and has a 1:1000 contrast ratio. While none of these 2 panels support G-Sync, nor are they particularly suitable for high-end professional graphical design when you need true color accuracy, they are excellent panels for gaming purposes. Both displays are what ASUS called IPS level, which basically means that you can view the panel from a variety of different angles, up to 170 degrees field of view, and still be able to see what's being displayed on the screen. When it comes to the choice of the display, you are getting what you are paying for, with the higher end panel being more superior in every category. It has faster refresh rate, better response time, and slightly better colors. If you plan to keep your laptop for a number of years, say maybe through a 4-year college study, I would spring for the 240Hz option. The display is something that you will be looking at a lot when using a laptop, so the upgrade is worth the additional investment. There is a 17-inch version of the ROG STRIX G called G17, the number representing the display size. While the 15 and 17-inch share a lot of commonalities when it comes to design, specifications, and ports, there are also a few differences setting them apart. The most obvious one is of course the size and weight. Having a larger 17-inch display gives you more real estate to work with, and playing games will feel a lot more immersive compared to a 15-inch. Other differences come in hardware. While it's possible to buy the G15 with an i5-10300H paired with an entry-level GTX card, its 17-inch brother only comes with the i7 option, so you're limited to an i7-10750H or an i7-10875H. The second difference lies in the graphic card selections. The 15-inch has 1650 Ti, 1660 Ti, RTX 2060, 2070, and 2070 Super card available as possible configurations. The 17-inch version starts at 1660 Ti and goes up to 2070 Super with 8GB of GDDR6 VRAM as the highest option. The 17-inch at 2.85 kilos or 6.3 pounds is both larger and heavier than the 15-inch, which weighs at 2.3 kilos or 5.1 pounds. For connectivity, the Strix G15 has Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.0. There are 4 Wi-Fi antennas inside the laptop, supporting what ASUS calls range boost technology, which essentially gives you a better Wi-Fi performance and coverage. The 230-watt power adapter that comes with the Strix laptop is quite chunky. It's bigger than the G14 power adapter from my previous review. I'll put links to that video in the descriptions below if you are interested to watch. There's no built-in webcam in the Strix G15, so if that's important to you, you might need to look for a different laptop, or buy an external webcam. I'm not too bothered by the lack of webcam. For the price of keeping those bezels ultra slim, I'm willing to sacrifice the built-in webcam. If you are interested in these laptops, I'll leave links below to Amazon and Best Buy, so you can check it out if you want. Now to the port selections. The Strix G15 has all the ports to the left and rear side of the computer. This is a design choice which I like a lot, as it keeps the laptop relatively clutter-free, and you can have most of your cords running off the backside. On the left side, there is an audio combo jack, so your standard 3.5mm headphone or microphone could go in here. 3 more USB Type-A ports. These are USB 3.2 Gen 1, with transfer speeds up to 5 gigabits per second. On the backside, there is an Ethernet port, 1 full-sized HDMI port supporting 4K HDR, and 1 USB Type-C port. The USB Type-C port supports the USB 3.2 Gen 2 protocol, as well as DisplayPort support. There are no ports on the right side, which I like, because I'm a right-hander. If you're a left-hander, you might have a different opinion about it. Overall, ASUS has been very generous with the port selection. However, I was disappointed when I found out there was no SD card reader. There is clearly a room for it on a 15-inch laptop, so I'm not sure why they left it out. Other than that, I think ASUS has done a great job with the physical placement of all the ports. Moving on to what I consider is my favorite part about the G15, is how beautiful it is. Without a doubt, this is, in my opinion, one of the best looking laptops out there, just from a design point of view. The whole laptop is made out of plastics, but it feels very premium, and the build quality is some of the best I've seen for a plastic laptop. It is extremely well built and doesn't flex much, built almost like a tank. It has that heavy, luxurious feel to it, even though the 15-inch version only weighs 2.3 kilos. If you watch my Zephyrus G14 review, you'll know I like the keyboard. This one, I have to say, is even better. They are different, but I just like the G15's 2mm key travel better. They are more soft and not as clacky as on the G14. It's a different feeling, but certainly a good one. Being a 15-inch laptop, you are in for a more comfortable typing experience. Not only does it offer more space for palm rest, but the feeling when typing on these keys are simply amazing. The only downside I could say about the keyboard is that the arrow keys are a bit tiny too small for my liking. It's not a deal breaker, but if you're somebody who uses the arrow keys a lot and you have fairly large fingers, then you will probably wish for a bigger key. I normally don't use the trackpad as much as I use the regular mouse, but the trackpad on the G15 has the same quality as the rest of the keyboard, which is to say, excellent. There are 5 quick buttons above the standard keyboard area. These are toggles for volume up and down, muting microphone, switching between different fan modes, and opening up ASUS Armoury Crate software. Within the Armoury Crate software, there are a bunch of different features and visual effects control. The first page will show you all the relevant information that you can find about CPU, RAM, fan speed, and temperature. I have an internet browser, a game, and Premiere Pro open at the same time, so that's taking up 10 GB of RAM. You can choose to have the computer stay in silent mode, which optimizes for battery life but gives you only the basic compute power. This mode is good for web browsing, office work, or Netflix. It is not suitable for playing AAA titles in this mode. The performance option gives you slightly more power in exchange for less battery life and noise reduction. Finally, in turbo mode, you can expect the laptop to really show its muscles. It can get pretty loud in this mode, so I recommend you use a headphone for those longer gaming sessions to block out the fan noise. There are a bunch of more tweaks you can do here, like Aura Sync, Game Visual, Game Library, and different scenario profiles. I will just pick one to show you in detail. So let's do Aura Sync, and then Aura Effects. So in the Aura Effects panel, you can choose different lighting effects, such as Static, where it just shows you one constant color. Breathing, where the light slowly turns on and off, simulating a human breath. Similar to breathing mode is strobing. Strobing gets you this faster pace of change, and you can also change the colors if you want at any time. The color cycle mode basically cycles through different colors, and similar to all the other modes, you can change the colors to your heart's content. Rainbow mode is exactly what the name suggests, and will give you all the rainbow colors. There are a lot of lighting options within the Aura Sync app that you can tweak with, but my favorite one is the Smart mode. So the Smart mode will show you different colors depending on your current CPU temperature, and you can set it at any interval you want. In the default mode, once the temperature goes beyond the presets of 40 and 60 degrees Celsius, the keyboard and the light bar will turn from green to yellow to red, indicating about the potential overheat of the system. If you don't like any of these color effects and just want a peace of mind, you can turn everything off by choosing the dark mode. This will turn off the light bar completely. The Strix series from ASUS are typically optimized with performance in mind. In order to get good performance, you need good thermals. ASUS has been known for a long time to have really good cooling system implemented in their laptop systems. The Strix G is no exception. There are 2 noticeable hotspots on the laptop. One is on the top side above the keyboard, close to the panel. The other one being on the right side of the chassis. These are areas you typically don't touch with your hand, so it wouldn't bother you much either. The rest of the laptop, including the palm rest area, will run very cool. ASUS has implemented several technologies and improved the manufacturing process in order to gain better performance. The company is applying liquid metal compound for their new 2020 Strix lineup. Key components such as CPU are treated with this process. All 2020 Strix models ships with liquid metal treatment. This improves cooling efficiency as well as prolonging the lifespan of the product. The fan spin has 83 blades to increase airflow for better heat dissipation throughout the 3 exhaust vents. ASUS is claiming an overall 12 degrees improvement in lowering system temperature with all this new technology. And I can say they have succeeded. This laptop feels very cool to the touch. Good job, ASUS! If you enjoyed the video so far, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. Being a gaming laptop, the Strix G15 packs quite much under the hood, so I tested the laptop using various different benchmark programs. Bear in mind that these synthetic benchmarks only gives an indication of the computer's raw power, and final scores can differ slightly in results. So I ran the test several times. and compiled an average from these runs. In Cinebench R15, I'm getting a score of 1733 and an OpenGL score of 120 FPS. In Cinebench R20, I tested the multi-core performance and got 3887 points. In Unigine Heaven, the overall score was 1737 and 69 FPS using Ultra presets and running at 1080p. Since benchmark programs are only for reference and doesn't tell real-world performance, I ran the G15 through a couple of graphically intensive games. Let me know in the comments if you prefer to see benchmark scores or real-world gaming performance in the future. The G15 I have has the 8-core i7-10785H and RTX 2060 graphics card. The first game I tested was Hitman 2. I used the higher settings, ran the game in 1080p mode, and had VSync turned off. As you can see, Hitman 2 utilizes mostly the GPU, but also some chunk of the CPU. The game uses up to 10GB of RAM, so I would recommend to go for at least 16GB of RAM if you want to play this game while running other background applications. I never encountered anything below a solid 60 frames per second. And for the majority of the time, the game stayed between 80 to 90 frames per second. The second game I tested was Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Again I tested with higher settings, 1080p and VSync turned off. This game does not use as much processing power as Hitman 2. However, the GPU is maxed out at close to 100% all the time. I'm getting between 70 to 80 frames per second in this game. A few frame drops when there's something extra going on in the frame, such as lighting these candles. I'm using Windows Game Bar to capture this footage. Using a recorder will cause a few drop frames. So you should expect to get 4 to 5 frames higher when playing this game natively without any background recording. The final game is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. This game is very taxing both on the GPU and the CPU. I turned all the graphical settings to the highest, such as Ultra Texture Quality, Ultra Shadow Quality, VSync off, and running at 1080p resolution. The game's built-in benchmark scored 84 frames per second in average. All three games stress both the CPU and the GPU to well over 80 degrees Celsius. Considering this is housed in a relatively large 15-inch body, and ASUS has done a terrific job with the cooling, I'm not too worried about the potential meltdown or the laptop's overall longevity. I also tried to export the same video I made last week, the Zephyrus G14 laptop review. The G14 exported that video file to H.264 in 7 minutes, while it took the G15 just 4 minutes and 45 seconds to render out the same file. ASUS is targeting this laptop towards eSport gamers. It has excellent panel for fast-paced games. But no matter if you like to play slower mobile games, story-based adventures, simulation games, or fast first-person shooters, this laptop has you all covered on the hardware side. Upgrading the SSD and RAM is not difficult, and the 10th gen processors are solid options. If you are considering what graphics card to get, I would recommend to look into the RTX 2060 segment, as they provide the best value for the money at the moment. I found some great options in Amazon and Best Buy. I'll put them in the links below. The lack of SD card reader and the small sized arrow keys gets points deducted from me. Other than that, I can easily recommend this product for anybody looking for a gorgeous looking gaming laptop with a fantastic build quality. That's it guys. If you enjoyed the content, share the video to your friends. Comment to let me know if this is something you would like to see more of in the future. If we can hit 50 likes for this video, I'll make another video about the Electro Punk version of the Strix G15 with higher graphics options and compared to this one. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notifications so you won't miss out any of my future videos.